to you some of the Greek religion, some of the gods and goddesses, and what they stood for. Okay. Um, so who would like to read for me? Who would like to read for me? Or should I choose new readers? Dina. Yeah, I was actually just going to say Dina. And write your name, anyone else who would like to read. Okay, Dina, nice and loud for us. Let's learn about Greek mythology and Greek religion.
Okay. Greek religion, city naming. Athens was from Athena, the goddess of wisdom. Sparta from Nike, god of victory, and Artemis, the goddess of hunting. Corinth from Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Delphi, Apollo, she was oracle of truth. And Olympia from Zeus.
Right? So just like Egypt, just like Mesopotamia in these polytheistic religions and societies and civilizations, every city state had their own deity, had their own god or goddess, right?
The pantheon of gods, 12 chief gods, Zeus and Hera were the kings and queens. They live at Mount Olympus. There are many smaller gods and demigods. Greek heroes are often the offspring of humans and gods, many mythical creatures.
Yeah. The pantheon of gods, the 12 chief gods, which we're going to learn about. Yeah, I don't expect you to remember all of them, but certainly the 12. Okay.
Sir, this brings back all the memories of when I used to read Percy Jackson in middle school.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of you have either read about this in the past, right? Okay, let's go through some.
Zeus, king of the gods, god of the sky.
Very strong, right? Masculine.
Hera, queen of the gods, goddess of marriage. Poseidon, god of the seas. Hades, god of the underworld. Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. Athena's god of wisdom, heroes, and war strategy. Ares, god of war and bloodlust. Apollo, god of the sun, light, and truth. Artemis, goddess of the moon and hunting. Demeter, goddess of fertility and harvest. Hephaestus, god of fire and forge. Hermes, god of flight, commerce, and messenger of the gods. Dionysus, god of wine and madness. Religious worship, poems, songs, art, parades, festivals, dancing and theater, sacrifices in temples and altars. Sir, I had a question. Is Hades like part of the 12 chief gods, or is
We're
he
gonna
not?
we're,
Because he's
we're
not.
yeah, we're gonna go through that now. Okay,
Okay.
keep reading. You're doing a good job.
Yeah. Overview. Polytheistic worshipped many gods. Gods controlled everything: stars, planets, harvests, etc. Anthropomorphic, human characteristics, virtues, and failing quarreled and deceived each other. Titans, the elder gods ruled before the Olympians overthrew and banished them. Olympians, the 12 gods who ruled after Titans, named after Mount Olympus. The 12 Olympian gods and goddesses. Zeus,
Just and
god
you
of.
can just go through. You don't have to name them, but
Okay.
yeah, just name. Sorry, each one. You don't have to explain. Yep.
Okay. Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Demeter, Hestia, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, Aphrodite, Hephaestus, and Ares. Other important gods: Hades, Dionysus, the Muses, and the Fates. Religious practices: no priesthood, organized church, or single sacred book. Priests presided over temples and had no say over orthodoxy. Religion about worship, not beliefs. Songs, dances, prayers, and sacrifices. Prayed before any undertaking. Pouring of libations. Each city's god had a statue in temple. Sacrifices performed on altar outside of temple. Bulls, ships, pigs, etc. Consulted oracles to see future. Oracle at Delphi. 60 to 70 festivals per year to honor gods. Athletic games, contests in the arts. Every 4 years, all city-states gathered at Olympia for 5-day festival.
Mm, right, and we're going to learn about the Olympics today, the history of the Olympics, and death and afterlife. Please, last points, Dina.
Messenger god Hermes led dead to river Styx, divided between world of living and dead. Boatman Charon ferried dead into Hades. Afterlife very dreary, not as joyful as life.
So next, I want to go through the Olympic Games. Okay, and let's learn about the history of the Olympic Games. Um, Stephanie, nice and loud for us. Stephanie Zhang. The Olympic Games, origins and purpose.
Athlete contests and public specul
Close.
were feature of religious and social life of the country, and later of ancient Rome, early on held in honor of the Greek gods, in part as offering of thanksgiving to the gods. First game dedicated to Zeus, the king of gods. Beginning in 776 BC, were celebrated in the summer every 4 years near the shrine of Zeus at Olympia, for Mount Olympus and the home of the Greek gods, in the province of Elias. Feature, featuring precision, feast, and music.
Yeah.
An important role in development of appreciation of physical beauty that is typical of Greek art and literature. In fact, there was a uniquely Greek idea that influenced the games: to live a balanced life in which the mind and the body were equally important.
Yes. A balanced
Among
life in which the mind and the body were equally important. So, yes. Again, began in 776. Okay. A shrine of Zeus at Olympia. Okay. Continue, Stephanie. Last point
the,
here.
the modern game focused on the ideal of a sound mind in a sound body, and this promote friendship among nations.
And Kyle, can you continue, please? Mr. Sweeney, do you want to read? The Greeks made.
The Greeks made time in their lives for work as well as play, made time for sport. Olympic Games, the most famous of the four national festivals of the ancient Greeks. Three others, I can't read that, those names.
Try. Try.
Uh, is
Yeah.
Mayan, Pythane, and
Nimian.
Nemean? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's fine.
Competition was between the many city-states. Invitations were sent out to the city-states to join and pay tribute to the most honorable god, Zeus. Those with the best equipment and most athletic entered. Games were open only to men of honorable descent. For their entertainment, people depend on competition among athletes. Began as a single event, a foot race, stadium, a 200-yard dash.
A 200-yard dash, a foot race. That was the single event, the first. And next, the victors.
I
Kyle.
keep going?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. The victors were awarded crowns, wreaths of olive tree leaves from a sacred olive tree that grew behind the temple of Zeus. Was said to be planted by Hercules. No,
Heracles.
okay. Hercules god, the founder of games. Marched to the
Accompaniment.
accompaniment of a flute admirers, chanted songs of the poets. They were celebrated by poets and often lived for the rest of their lives at public expense in city state.
Mm-hmm. So what happened? What happened to the Olympic Games? It's funny because this summer we're supposed to have the Summer Olympics, right? Still called 2020, in Japan, right? Hopefully that's still going to continue. We're not sure, but this summer is supposed to be the next one, right? So the later years. Who would like to read? Richard, are you with us, Richard?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Later years, relations between Greece and Rome became bitter. Roman Emperor Theodosius I abolished the games in 394 AD. In late 19th century France, a successful campaign to revive Olympics by the Baron Pierre de Coubertin.
Mhm.
First modern summer games, March 24th, 1896 in Greece. Winter games added in 1924, cancelled for the two world wars, resumed in 1948.
Good. So that's the history, right, guys? So 776 BC, 776 BC, all the way to 394 AD, 394 AD, and then was canceled by the Emperor Theodosius in 394. And then it wasn't until France, an individual in France, brought it back, and it would then start in Greece again in 1896. So then in the late 19th century. So 1896, it starts again. But again, because of the two world wars, 1916, and then World War II, 1940, 1944, canceled, and resumes in 1948. And hopefully it's not canceled again. Hopefully this summer it will continue. Okay. What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to happen this summer in Japan?
I don't think so, sir.
I feel like they're gonna try, then they're gonna end up canceling it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because like Canada and America and Russia and like a few countries are getting vaccine, but the majority of countries still don't have a lot of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's just gonna be a few countries then.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be like beneficial for them because they get a lot of money from the people who come watch it, and if nobody's gonna come and watch it, then like there isn't really a point for them to do that.
I know. Yep. They depend on an audience. They depend on people coming to the city, coming to the country. Yes. I mean, because the Olympics are mostly individual sports, maybe they can try to isolate them better, because it's not team sports for the most part. But it's going to be difficult. Yeah. It's going to be difficult. We still don't know if it's going to happen. So that should be interesting, and we could keep our eye on that. Okay. This is the history of the Olympics. Okay, the history of the Olympics on important dates. Okay. And let's just watch this. It's 4 minutes long. National Geographic. They always do a good job.
Art, philosophy, democracy, and heroes. These are just a few achievements of the legendary civilization known as ancient Greece. Ancient Greece was born on the shores of the Aegean Sea about 4,000 years ago. In over a millennium, it expanded to lands as far west as Spain and as far east as India. Throughout this age of empire, the ancient Greeks made political, militaristic, and cultural achievements that resonated long after their empire fell. Part of the ancient Greeks' legacy involved politics, one of which was the political system of Greece itself. Unlike many nations that were under unified rule, Greece was a collection of over 1,500 territories that acted as sovereign nations. Called city-states, these territories had their own rulers and sometimes fought each other. Another political development was the institution of the first large-scale democracy. Developed in the city-state of Athens, democratic rule was a way to give the Greek people representation and political power. The Greeks also earned a strong reputation for their military. The military helped expand the Greek Empire by establishing colonies overseas, and it protected Greece itself from foreign invaders like the Persian Empire. When such a threat occurred, city-states united to defend their homeland. Many Greeks, particularly in Sparta, took immense pride in their military and regarded their soldiers as heroes. Their heroism was often turned into legend thanks to literary works like the Iliad. War heroes also inspired the creation of the Olympics, which celebrated physical competition. Of all aspects of ancient Greek civilization, their cultural contributions left a considerable mark on the Western world. Particularly noteworthy were the ancient Greeks' art and architecture. They created incredible sculptural works, such as standing figures and reliefs. Plus, they developed 3 types of columns and incorporated them to structures like the Parthenon. This artistry was imitated by other civilizations and spread throughout the globe for thousands of years. How the Greeks interpreted the world was also reflected in other cultures. Greek religion, which was comprised of many anthropomorphic deities, helped shape the spiritual beliefs of the Etruscans and later the ancient Romans. Greek philosophy, which explored matters of reason, ethics, and natural law, influenced later civilizations' achievements in politics and science. Greek language made quite an impact as well. Ancient Greek, at about 3,400 years old, provided the basis of many modern languages. The English language alone has thousands of words with Greek roots. Ancient Greece's artistry, regard for heroes, and democratic rule left a considerable impression on world history. With contributions that lasted for millennia, the civilization of ancient Greece is nothing short of legendary.
Okay. All right. That was really good. It's a really good 4 minutes. So there you have it. Okay, that was a very brief overview of the gods, and for those of you that went through the reading for chapter 7, it's certainly more it's thorough and goes in depth a little bit more. Okay. So for the homework for Greek gods, you could see here. Now this is posted in the homework. I have a list here of 16. So later on, I would like you to try to match these 16 just by looking at the visual, right? And then try to match them with the gods in my PowerPoints and see how you do. I'll give you the answers to this matching later. And then for homework, there's a chart, right? A domain symbol or identification and significance chart for some of the more important ones. So there's about 15 here. Okay. So you just have to go through and give me about a sentence for each. So that's later. And the other topic today is philosophy. And we're just gonna read about the main three today: Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. And that's here, Greek philosophy. And here's a famous picture, beautiful picture here, the School of Athens by Raphael in 1510. It was drawn in 1510 in the Italian Renaissance era. Drawing the School of Athens. Beautiful picture, famous picture. Who can I get to read now? I would like David to read and then Sabrina. So be ready, Sabrina. But we're going to start with David. Yep. Yep. Socrates. David. Plato. Yes. Good. Sabrina. Thank you, David.
Aristotle. Aristotle was Plato's pupil. He served as the tutor to Alexander the Great for 7 years. He was primarily interested in biology. Aristotle developed the third step in the scientific method after collecting information and developing a hypothesis, testing the hypothesis. Aristotle, 384 to 323 BCE, established his own school, the Lyceum, observation and classification of the natural world, physics, astronomy, psychology, metaphysics, political science, and ethics. Cynicism, founded by Antisthenes, 400 to 455 to 365. Live the simple life so that the soul can be set free, control yourself and your desires. Virtue is the only good. Reject civilization and withdraw from society. Hedonism, taught by Aristippus, 435 to 355. Gain pleasure and avoid pain. Pleasure is the only virtue. Morality is only customs and laws. Science, art, and civilization are only good if they produce pleasure. Skepticism, founded by Puro of Elis, 365 to 275. Nothing can be known for certain. Senses are easily fooled. Reason follows too easily our desires. The sun may or may not rise tomorrow, but odds are good that it will. Stoicism, founded by Zeno of Citium in Cyprus, 333 to 262. Live virtuous by following God's will. Indifference to pain and pleasure. Wisdom occurs when reason controls passions, and evil occurs when passions control us. Uh, Tales of Miletus, born in 625 BCE, studied physical universe, predicted solar eclipse in 585 BCE, determined height of Great Pyramids by measuring the length of the shadow. World tangible, finite, and knowable. Legacy was the Milesian school of thought. Legacy of philosophy. Foundation for Renaissance philosophers, division of scientific and philosophic categories established, sought logical explanations, and challenged religious assumptions.
Very important, the legacy. Remember, after the fall of Rome, a lot of these Greek concepts and philosophy and ideas are lost. They are lost for 1,000 years during the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages until they are found again by Thomas of Aquinas in roughly 1200, and then again brought to light in the Renaissance in about 1400, 1500s. So this is lost for about 1,000 years during the Middle Ages, but is the light is turned back on during the Renaissance. Awesome. Okay. So I've gone through all of my items here except this one, this chart, which I'm going to go through now. I'm going to go through your homework and what I want you to do. So please follow me and let's go through your items. So thank you, David and Sabrina, for reading, and Kyle. Thank you, and Stephanie as well. Let's go to your items under classwork, under classical Greece. Okay. Let's take a look at the instructions here. So you could see here, ooh, I posted quite a bit, right? There are 5 items. And what's great is that each item covers a characteristic of ancient Greece, right? So you have 1, government, 2, religion, 3, philosophy, 4, architecture, and 5, daily life. Now, the first one is government. That is this reading, which I assigned a few days ago. Okay. That was the reading plus questions. Many of you already completed this. The task is right at the bottom. Pretty straightforward with the questions. The second one is Greek mythology. And what you have to do for this one is this sheet. Kind of match the gods here, matching, which I'm going to take this up in class. So maybe you can do this first thing. And then for homework is this chart. Okay. Again, pretty easy. Okay. Just the identification and significance. Number 3 is Greek philosophy. And again, this is straightforward. It's just the chart here on the 3 main philosophers of ancient Greece, that being Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Okay. And this can be found in your PowerPoints that we just went through and reading. And Greek architecture. Greek architecture. Remember yesterday I said I wanted you to create a sketch. This should be written. You can draw these pillars if you want, or print this out. Okay. And just for your own, just so you know, if you scroll down to yesterday's lesson, I actually posted the answers for that. So it's right here in this item. Okay. So I kind of give you the items I'm looking for each one. So this is a picture in yesterday's lesson. Okay. Right here. So that's for the 4th item, which is the drawing. Okay. That's Greek architecture. And that number 5 is just simply reflection questions 1 to 3 on page 135. And I give you the reading pages. And that's for this one here, not your textbook at home. This one. Okay. For chapter 7. So reading below, Ancient Greece chapter 7, that's this one here. Information can be found in PowerPoint, class notes, and textbook. So you should have everything here. These are the items. These are the 5 items you need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And really goes through just a little bit of each of these characteristics for classical Greece. Okay? That's here. And all the information is here. Is that clear? Questions? I mean, I think I'm pretty clear in the instructions. So are there any questions? If you can take a picture and turn it in. Just take a picture of it. Yeah. So you can draw it. I mean, if you can create it on a Google Doc, great. Great. But I don't mind if you take a picture and send it. Students do that all the time and turn it in. Okay. Sabrina, I just went through the 5 items for homework. That's all you missed. So just go check the homework. There's 5 items. I'm very specific and clear in what I'm looking for. You can put it all in a single document if you want. And then if you have a picture, you can post the picture.
Oh, okay. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. So guys, review the homework. If you have any questions, it might seem like a lot, but each item is pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and all the information I've provided you. Okay, so are there any questions?